Yeah, we're so excited because we are interviewing a legend.
Absolutely. He's best known for the 24 years he spent anchoring the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather has had an extensive career covering monumental events like the Kennedy assassination, Watergate, and the September 11th terrorist attacks.
These days, Dan Rather has his own website and his own show, The Big Interview, and the 100th episode is actually coming up next week, and it features another legend, the Beatles' Ringo Starr.
And joining us now via satellite is Dan Rather himself. Dan, thank you so much for being with us on Better Connecticut.
Well, good afternoon to you, Kara and Scott. Good to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
You know, you've been doing this for so long, but do you still get the willies excitement when you're going to sit down and interview someone like Ringo Starr?
Well, you know, I had never met Ringo Starr before. I covered the Beatles some during the 1960s when I was working at CBS News, but I never met Ringo Starr before. And he'd always kind of puzzled me because of the four original Beatles, you could make a case for a long time he was the least known. So I was very eager to meet him, but I was very pleased. He was quite candid in the interview. You know, one of the things we try to do on The Big Interview on Access TV is bring people out. It's an hour-long interview, and it gives us a chance to get some depth. And for example, with Ringo Starr, I wasn't fully aware of what an impression his illness as a child. He was very ill when he was sort of 10, 11, 12 years old in that area. And that's what really got him serious about music. But he told that story and came out. He also has a lot of good stories about what it was like with the Beatles in their heyday in the 60s, 70s, and on into the 80s. But I think anybody who watches it will be impressed with, you know, there's a sort of a myth about Ringo Starr that he was the least intelligent of the Beatles. If you listen to him in this big interview for even a short length of time, you'll put that to rest. He's a very smart guy.
Dan, is there a sense of freedom not having to be tied to a network as opposed to being out on your own and being able to conduct these interviews?
Well, you know, I'm at a different stage of my career now, to say the least. I'm active on social media, Facebook, Twitter, that kind of thing. Still cover hard news when I can, do some documentaries, but it's a different stage of life and career. And frankly, doing The Big Interview is a great change of pace for me. It's a different kind of interviewing different kinds of people, basic people in the music business and in show business. I wasn't quite sure when I started it how long I'd do The Big Interview, but lo and behold, Ringo Starr is our 100th anniversary, and
amazing.
We have a new full season.
So you're 86 years old. What are you doing to keep yourself so sharp?
I'll say that again, please.
I say, you're 86 years old, and here we are. We have a segment coming up on brain health coming up. We're wondering, what do you do to keep yourself so healthy and sharp?
Well, I appreciate that greatly. You know, the best I can do here for you on this wonderful afternoon is try to talk about the big interview. I should mention that behind Ringo Starr we have Rod Stewart and Toby Keith. We have a long list of people. I think anybody who watches and looks in on the program will find themselves kind of interested.
Dan, the methods of transmission have certainly changed. When you were born, there was no television, then there was television, and now you're broadcasting on the internet. Can you believe the changes and just the methods of transmission?
You know, it's all a wonder to me. The whole world of the internet, Facebook, Twitter, social media, has changed nearly everything, but this much never changes. When it comes to reporting news, reporting in depth, trying to get as close as possible to the truth is still what journalism is about. You know, in The Big Interview, it's a little bit different format. We're still trying to get at the truth, if you will. But in answer to your question, everything changes over the years, but the acceleration of the pace of change in the way people receive information and put out information, frankly, amazes me. But one of the blessings of getting to live a long time with your health is to be amazed at how much things change over the years.
Yeah, it's very true.
Thank you, Dan Rather. We really appreciate you being with us.
Caroline and Scott, thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, and continued success, Dan.
Thank you.
Again, the new season of The Big Interview starts next Tuesday, October 2nd at 9 p.m. on Access TV.